All right, let's dive into a pretty radical new idea in medicine. What if we could stop treating diseases one by one and instead target the actual aging process that causes so many of them in the first place?
And look, this isn't just about living longer. It's about living healthier for longer. And this is no longer science fiction. It's the real, central question that's driving a whole new field of research we're about to break down.
So, to understand the solution, we first have to meet the villain of our story. And trust me, they have absolutely earned their nickname, zombie cells.
So what are they exactly? Well, think of them as retired cells that just refuse to leave the building. They've stopped dividing, which is totally normal, but they ignore the signal to die off. Instead, they just hang around, accumulating in our bodies as we get older.
And this is where the zombie part really clicks. These cells aren't just taking up space. No, they are actively causing problems. They pump out this nasty cocktail of inflammatory signals that can damage all the healthy, working cells around them. It's kind of like one bad apple spoiling the whole bunch, except it's happening all over your body.
This comparison really gets to the heart of the problem. You see, healthy cells have this normal cycle. They work, they die, they get replaced. Zombie cells, they just break that cycle completely. By refusing to go away, they don't just take up space, they actively poison the neighborhood, creating this toxic environment that really fuels aging.
And let's be clear, this isn't some abstract, theoretical problem. The inflammation these cells create is a key driver behind so many of the diseases we associate with aging. Things like heart disease, Alzheimer's, arthritis, even stuff like pulmonary fibrosis. They're all linked to the damage these zombies leave behind.
Okay, so we've got a pretty clear villain, right? Now let's talk about the heroes of this story. A whole new class of drugs designed to hunt down and eliminate these problem cells. They're called senolytics. The name itself is pretty cool. You've got seno for aging and lytic meaning to destroy. Their whole job is to be a precision weapon. They're designed to find the unique survival signals that keep these zombie cells alive and then boom, shut them down. This triggers their self-destruction while leaving your healthy, hardworking cells totally alone. The strategy here is a really clear four-step process. First, you clear out the zombie cells. Right away, that lowers the chronic inflammation they're causing. As a result, your tissues can start to function better, which then leads to the ultimate goal, extending our health span. And this is such a key distinction. We're not just talking about lifespan, the total number of years you live. We're talking about health span, the number of years you live in good health, free from the burden of chronic diseases. It's about the quality of your life, not just the quantity.
Now, this all sounds great in theory, but is it actually working in the real world? The short answer is yes. Scientists are already putting these drugs to the test, and they're getting some pretty fascinating early results.
And the research is moving incredibly fast. In some recent trials from 2025, scientists tested this really interesting combo. Dasatinib, which is an existing cancer drug, paired with quercetin, a natural compound you find in things like onions and apples. This cocktail became one of the first major senolytic therapies to be studied in people.
And the early results are really, really encouraging. Trials showed a noticeable reduction in biological aging markers in elderly patients. They even saw improved lung function in people with severe pulmonary disease. It was also effective at reducing inflammation in patients who were recovering from COVID-19. So we're talking tangible, positive outcomes here.
But, and this is super important, we have to keep a level head. Researchers are always the first to add a note of caution. These are just the first steps. As promising as the results are, science is a marathon, not a sprint. We still need larger, longer studies to confirm these drugs are both safe and effective for everyone.
So what's next? Well, the potential for this kind of technology goes way beyond just making us feel a bit younger. This could fundamentally change how we practice medicine entirely. Now, to be perfectly clear, senolytics are not some magic bullet that's going to solve every single health problem. It's better to think of them as a powerful and completely new type of tool being added to the doctor's toolkit.
And just look at the potential applications. By clearing out these zombie cells, we could actually help regenerative therapies work better. We might be able to boost how well vaccines work in older adults, which is a huge public health challenge. It could even become a tool in cancer treatment by getting rid of the senescent cells that sometimes create a protective little hideout for tumors. The possibilities are just really exciting.
And this brings us back to the biggest idea of all. For centuries, medicine has been focused on treating one disease at a time. Heart disease over here, arthritis over there. Senolytics represent a total paradigm shift.
Instead of playing whack-a-mole with all these individual conditions, we're targeting one of the fundamental root causes of so many of them. It's a move from playing defense to going on offense against aging itself.
It really leaves us with this one massive question. As the science continues to accelerate, we have to wonder, by going after these tiny dysfunctional cells, are we on the verge of fundamentally changing what it even means to grow old? It's a future that's starting to feel closer than ever before.
Fact Orbit.